Sami Zayn has been stripped of the Intercontinental title due to him making the decision not to appear at the tapings. All Talent was given the option previously not to attend out of concern for their own health and safety, and Sami has apparently made the choice to do so. Now, he has not commented publicly about this, but the belief is that that is the choice that he has made, which has really left WWE with no other choice but to strip him of the championship. I don't fault WWE for taking the title away from Sami Zayn. If Sami made the call to sit out due to safety concerns and there's no timetable for his return, I don't know, is he waiting for a vaccine? Is he going to come back in 3 months? Oh, nobody knows. If there's no timetable for his return, then you can't have the Intercontinental title on ice for months on end. This is not Brock Lesnar. This is not Brock Lesnar, where at least with Brock had dates mapped out. They knew when they were getting Brock Lesnar back. Okay, Brock's going to be off TV for 2 or 3 months, but we're going to get him back for this pay-per-view. That's a different situation. You look at Andrade. Andrade was suspended a few months ago for 30 days. They let him keep the United States Championship. I don't know that I would have done that, but they knew they were going to have him back in a month. It wasn't an open-ended thing. This is a very different situation. So I think WWE had to take the title away from him. Where I find fault are these reports, and I guess they came from the Observer, that there is heat on Sami Zayn internally in WWE for not coming to work and not, just putting them in this position in the first place. Even though the company told the talent that it would not be held against them if they chose to stay home. If this is true, that is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting that he would have heat with anybody, Vince McMahon or anybody, for taking them at their word and choosing his own health and safety over coming into work. Take the title off him? Absolutely. I agree with that. But if he really does have heat over this, these people are shameful. Absolutely shameful. Now, it does put Nakamura and Cesaro in a weird spot because they were part of a faction with Sami. And they kept the title on Sami, at WrestleMania when they could have easily had Daniel Bryan win the championship. Maybe they feel misled. Maybe they feel that he misled them, that, okay, he's going to keep working. He worked WrestleMania, so let's keep the title on him. We've got Sami. And then all of a sudden, Sami turns around and says, you know what? I don't feel like coming to work. But you can't give your independent contractors the option of staying home and then be mad when they stay at home. It's just pure insanity. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth like that. It is pure insanity. And it shows the other talent how full of shit you are when you say one thing that you don't really mean. Now, when Sami comes back, they have a ready-made program for him to claim to be the real Intercontinental Champion and wrestle whoever the champion is at the time. Like when Shawn Michaels came back and he had a feud with Razor. So the title has been held up. It will be decided in a single elimination tournament that started on Friday night. The brackets look like this. Daniel Bryan against Drew Gulak and Sheamus against Jeff Hardy on one side. And on the other side of the bracket, Elias against Baron Corbin and AJ Styles from Monday Night Raw against Shinsuke Nakamura. They've got some history together, those two guys do. They said AJ wanted to be in the tournament because the IC title is one that he's never held before. You know who else has never been the Intercontinental Champion before who's in this tournament? Sheamus. Sheamus has been the WWE Champion. He's been the World Heavyweight Champion. He's been the United States Champion. He's been a Tag Team Champion. He's won Money in the Bank. He's been a King of the Ring. He's won a Royal Rumble. Yeah, I was talking earlier about Asuka being one of the most decorated stars and decorated champions in company history. So is Sheamus. Probably doesn't get enough credit for that, but so has Sheamus. But the one title he has never held, I guess Universal now, but it's the Intercontinental Championship. And he talked about when he came back, he was on the bump a few months ago, and he talked about how badly he really wants to win the IC title before he retires. He almost doesn't even care about Universal or anything else. He wants the Intercontinental Championship. I think he'll get it. I just don't think it happens here. I don't think he gets it here. Elias bounced Corbin out of the first round with the dreaded roll-up finish, and a great way to get Corbin primed for his big match with Drew McIntyre tomorrow night. Daniel Bryan beat Drew Gulak on Friday in a great match. It was a great wrestling match. Charlie Caruso might even say it was the greatest wrestling match ever. I really enjoyed it. And it's the last time we may ever get to see it, because we learned last night that Drew Gulak is gone from World Wrestling Entertainment. His contract very quietly expired after these last batch of tapings, and they failed to come to an agreement on a new deal before the old one ran out, which means that he is now a free agent. He is free to go anywhere he wants to and can start right away. There's no 90-day clause or anything like that. Coming off of, I think what you could say, was the biggest match of his career. It's also possible that he and WWE can still reach a deal, right? Just because the contract ran out doesn't mean they can't negotiate for a new one. But according to the Observer, what happened is he asked for more money. He wanted more money than I guess he was making on his previous deal, and WWE refused. And I don't know what the money figures are, and it's none of my business. But I kind of understand it, right? Drew Gulak was never featured as any kind of prominent performer on TV. He was relegated to 205 Live and maybe a little bit of NXT. And in the last few months, he has been in a fairly prominent position on Smackdown, on Fox. You know, he's been involved in a storyline with Daniel Bryan. So he is absolutely being featured more prominently now on TV. I will not sit here and tell you that I think Drew Gulak is some kind of big star. He's not. But he's a very capable, I think, utility-type player on the brand who was getting a lot of face time on TV, and deservedly so, because, you know, he's very good at what he does. I like the whole coach and student story with him and Bryan. Should he have been paid more than what he was probably making before? I think you could definitely make that argument. Now, maybe he wanted too much money, but think about what he was doing before and think about what he's been doing the last few months. If his argument was, look, I'm on television every week. I'm on Fox every week. I'm doing more now than I've ever done before in terms of, you know, television storyline stuff. I think I should be paid accordingly, and if the company felt otherwise, then, you know, I can understand if that's what he was aiming for. But without knowing the monetary figures and all that, it's all just speculation. Who knows? So anyway, he's a free man. He is a free man, and it's surprising that WWE would allow his contract to lapse and still have him featured that way on TV. I know he lost, he put Bryan over, but still, he's been in a prominent position on the show. And they're normally pretty good about taking guys off TV. Like, they did it with Rey Mysterio last week. You know, they did it with Matt Hardy until they knew that Matt's leaving. Okay, so let's beat him on the way out. It's very surprising. When I heard this news, I was as shocked as anybody that they would even still have this guy on television in the spot he was in, knowing that his contract was coming due. But you know what? If that is his last match in WWE, he went out on a high note. He went out on a high note. But I said after all the cuts last month, I said this. The days of just throwing money at guys just to keep them away from AEW and away from all these other promotions, Japan and every other place. Let's just throw a bunch of money. Let's throw high six figures, multi-year contracts at guys like The Revival, Anderson and Gallows, or a Drew Gulak type. Those days are done. Those days are over. The pandemic made sure of that. And they're still cutting people. They're still letting contracts expire. We just found out, I guess she was cut last month, but Rachel Ellering down in NXT, she's gone. There may yet be more names that come out. They're not looking, I think, to throw that kind of money around anymore, guys, unless they feel that it's a big enough name worth keeping. Unless you're a really top name or a top star, I think those days are done. Those days are over. Now, after the match, Bryan talked about how it was almost 5 years ago to the day that he was forced to surrender the IC title when he retired. And then he said something very peculiar. He said he has not had a shot at the Intercontinental Championship since he was forced to relinquish it. All those years ago, he has not had a shot at the Intercontinental title. And I just thought to myself, I said, the man just wrestled for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania not 2 months ago. What is he talking about? This could be the sign of brain damage. Bryan may be forced to withdraw from the tournament to retire again if that's the case. Give that man a concussion test. Not even 2 months ago. What's he talking about? Can you imagine? Imagine if that was scripted for him, if he didn't just come up with that on his own. That would be even worse, that somebody had to think about this and nobody would have caught that. So I figure it's just something he mentioned. You know, he's one of these guys who has the freedom to just kind of speak for himself on some of these things. Like, I thought I was losing my mind there for a second. Said he wants to make the title the top championship on SmackDown. He believes it should be held by the best wrestler in WWE, and he believes that person is him. I look at it like this. Daniel Bryan does not need the Intercontinental title. The Intercontinental title needs Daniel Bryan. They talk about how prestigious, the prestigious Intercontinental Championship. They sure don't treat it that way. But we go through these phases. You guys know. Anybody who's been watching WWE for any length of time, you know the score. We go through these phases. They say the wrestling business is cyclical. Well, so is their insistence that the IC title is anything prestigious. For a few months it'll be prestigious, and then it'll just kind of be forgotten about. Then it'll be prestigious again, and then it'll be forgotten about, and on and on and on we go. So now we're back in the prestigious phase. We're back in the prestigious. It was prestigious when Brock Lesnar wasn't on television, and Seth Rollins, a couple years back, a couple summers ago, was defending the IC title every week. You know what? That was the last time the championship truly felt prestigious. Because it was the de facto top title on the show. It was the only title that was being defended. Because we didn't have a champion. We go through these peaks and valleys. So now we're about to hit another little peak. And they want everybody to think that this title means more than life itself. The two people who should be fighting for it are Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. If Sheamus goes to the finals, it would be heel against heel unless Elias goes all the way. And Elias against Sheamus is death for a finals. You could have Jeff Hardy beat Sheamus and then Daniel Bryan and then win the championship against AJ Styles. You could have AJ and Hardy wins. And then have Sheamus win the title finally from Jeff Hardy. They have a match at Backlash, or I don't know when the finals are going to be. Maybe after Backlash, it would be Hardy and Sheamus for the title. You could do that too, but I say why not get 2 matches out of it at the next pay-per-view? You could do Hardy against Sheamus, because you know they're going to have a rematch after their tournament match. And then you could do the finals as well. You get 2 matches out of it instead of 1. I think Sheamus advances, does not beat Daniel Bryan, because Hardy gets involved. Keep that feud going into Backlash. Bryan goes all the way to the finals. Elias takes on AJ after AJ beats Nakamura. Because why would AJ Styles be, moving over to SmackDown one week and wasting one of his appearances just to lose in the first round? That makes no sense. AJ then beats Elias, but then he falls short in the finals to Daniel Bryan. And the only reason I say that, because I was kind of waffling. I thought, okay, maybe AJ's going to win it for the first time. The real reason I'm going with Bryan over Styles is because of the stupid rule. This new brand invitational thing that they're doing. The rule is that each superstar has 4 appearances in the course of a year that they can make on the other show. Well, how is that going to work? If AJ wins the championship, he's going to be on SmackDown, right? You're not going to have the Intercontinental and the US title on Monday Night Raw. He's going to use up all of his appearances. Like, how would you explain him winning and then staying on SmackDown? Are the champions exempt? We don't know. They can be. If they want to make up that rule right now, they can go ahead and make up that rule right now. Champions are exempt. Then I would have to really think about it, because then I could see AJ winning. But because of this stupid rule, I think Bryan is going to win the title.